I'm Joyce DiDonato, and this is part of Sing for Today. And it is just such a human thrill to welcome Tom Kirdahy here. Tom is a dear friend, an incredible producer, a longtime activist for human rights, for gay rights, has devoted his life to bettering the world. And I first came to know him because he was the husband of Terrence McNally. And we lost Terrence just about 14 months ago. And Tom, it's a joy to welcome you today amongst the grief. And one of the things I wanted to talk with you about at this time is, we're starting to emerge. The light at the end of the tunnel is getting a bit brighter, but we're all left very changed. And it's different examples of grief that we've been through and loss. And nobody that I've ever known, that I've witnessed, has handled it more graciously and humanly and bravely than you have. And so thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
The song that we've chosen for this is Danny Boy. And it's a piece, one of the reasons I think this song works so well is that it evolves over time. Each time you meet it, you're in a different place emotionally and in your stage of life, and you encounter the piece a bit differently. So this was recorded here in Barcelona. I'm going to share the video with you. You've not seen it yet?
I have not.
I want to tell you, I felt Terrence here, and I felt his smile over this session. So this is for Terrence.
We love this song.
The pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the roses falling. 'Tis you must go and I must bide, but come ye back when summer's in the meadow, when the valley's hushed and white with snow. 'Tis I'll be But come ye back, and all the flowers are dying, and I am dead, as dead I well may be. He'll come and find the place where I am lying, and kneel and say an Ave there for me, and I shall hear the soft you tread above me, and all my grief until you come to me.
That's stunning. That's truly
Tom.
beautiful.
Terrence loved that song. I didn't know that before I chose it.
It's a nice Irish boy.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. We can't escape it. Yeah, it's what does it evoke in you in terms of being the one who is still here to hear that song?
First, I have to say that your voice has direct access to my heart and my tear ducts. um, I think of the many things Terrence gave me, I think the greatest gift beyond knowing that I was loved is a deep appreciation for beauty. And, you know, when I hear what feels like a very simple, beautiful, plaintive song sung by one of the greatest voices in the world, I feel so blessed. I've shared with you in the past, I live in gratitude. I feel like Terrence is very much with me every day. It's 14 months. I still wear his ring on my finger with mine. And to lose someone during a pandemic, loss is always difficult, but I've learned a lot about the importance of the rituals around mourning. And we haven't been able to properly celebrate Terrence's life because we can't gather in a room together safely. And that's what he would want, and that's what he deserves. And and for Terrence, it needs to be in a theatrical space. But I dreamed of going to Ireland while listening to Danny Boy just now, bringing some of his ashes with me, and spreading some of them. We went to Ireland a number of times together, from visiting Angela Lansbury in her home to having him be celebrated as the ambassador of the Irish Queer Theatre Festival, and then just time together spent in a vague search for our ancestral roots. We both have Irish in our heritage, but there is nothing, and I mean nothing, Terrence loved more than music, and specifically operatic voices interpreting music. And I always knew he was happy when I came home and music was playing. He listened to music when he wrote. And so I would often hear your voice, Joyce, when he was in his office, and the louder the volume got, the more I knew that he was sort of creating a new world and bringing out the voices of new characters.
Oh, that gives me chills because you can feel it boiling to the surface, and
It was very sexy to me. I thought, wow, he is in there. Just that mind and that soul and that heart is creating something, that nobody's ever seen before. And I love that.
And using his words, it's giving birth to a new opera or a new play, something that's never happened.
Exactly. And there was always mystery. I could hear the tap of the keys on the keyboard, and So in those, I don't know if that was 4 minutes or what that was, but I went to a lot of different places through that music.
That makes me so happy. I think it's one of the things that I find so mystical and still mysterious, and at the same time so concrete, how music can connect us. And it can connect us through time and through place, because it evokes in us the memories, but that in that song that touches us or connects us to um, a person or a place or a time, we're there again in the
Yeah.
music. It's like time traveling.
Yeah.
And when we started this, it's always a little bit crazy with the video, and there's lighting and there's camera, and you can tell I'd already been crying a little bit just thinking about it. I needed a makeup check. There was this moment, it was about the third take, where I just, instead of focusing on all the cameras and everything, it was, yeah, Joyce, you're here for a reason. And that's when the smile, that infectious, like contagious smile of Terrence came around. And it just, everything settled. And the song came to life. And it continues to be alive through the recording. I think that's the power of a great song,
It's
as
so
you say.
evocative.
What are the things you've turned to, if I can ask you that, to weather this? Again, as you said, it's the traditional rituals have not been available. And so where have you found comfort? How have you woken up each morning and continued forward?
I cry a lot, and I cry. I don't feel weak with my tears. I feel blessed to have access to them, because I'm walking and working through my pain, which is very real. I live in gratitude. I am in recovery, and I've been 20 years clean and sober. Terrence was more than twice that. So we shared that. And every day of my life, I wake up and I make the bed and I do a gratitude prayer. And I've done that for 20 years, 20 plus years. But since Terrence passed on March 24th of last year, it has taken deeper meaning. And I don't have to fake it till I make it with gratitude. I feel gratitude to my fingertips, because when the two of us were raised, we had an age difference. He was born in 1938. I was born in 1963. But as two gay men, neither of us grew up with the dream of ever becoming married. That was just not a part of the dream landscape. And we fell in love very, very quickly when we met. He always claimed it was love at first sight. I was a little freaked out by that, but I knew I was in love. Like I knew too that I had found love, and to be a part of, we were very much a part of the marriage equality movement, and to have a front row seat at that history. But to ultimately feel that whether or not our love is state sanctioned, what we have is everything you ever dream about. It's what songs were written about. It's what novels are, it's been the subject of art, of deep, true, lasting love is the subject of the greatest art forever. And we had that, and I'll always have that.
Including all the things he wrote, which had that at the core of it.
It's true. I mean, what I have that so many people who suffer loss don't have is I have his words to comfort me. I very often will read his plays or look to a passage in one of his works for wisdom or comfort, or just to make me laugh. I've been doing a project with
Yeah.
some folks who just love Terence's work, and we read a play a week of his. We're reading everything chronologically, and then we have a book club every Friday, and we talk about the irreverence and the sort of vision and the truth telling and the sort of the absolute unapologetic manner in which Terence lived his life, whether it was with respect to his sexuality, his values, his beliefs. Terence held nothing back. How could I not be grateful? Because he loved so freely and so generously. Every time I go to a place of sadness or loneliness, and that's often, I recognize I hit the jackpot in the love department. And I have memories that will stay with me for the rest of my life. And we were smart about our friends. We really had, and I continue to have, great friends. I have people like you from across an ocean. We've stayed in touch, and in many ways, the relationships deepen because there's a vulnerability that you allow yourself. And between a pandemic and the loss of my husband and an industry, we're both in industries where it's so dependent on performing in shared space. It's that the exchange between artist and audience. So there's so much to mourn, and yet there's so much to celebrate, because we don't have the luxury of taking anything for granted. And if we do, shame on us.
There's a couple things that calls to mind. I think that vulnerability that was such a signature in Terence's writing, that was one of the things that connected the two of you. Neither of you, as far as I've ever known you, you haven't been afraid to be vulnerable. And that means there's something raw and very true about how you built your relationship and what you shared. And I find it, I feel very honored to have a small window into how you've been walking this path the 14 months. And I think access to vulnerability has been a big gift to you at this time, because it means you've been able to live out without the need to mask it or to be strong or to put on a strong. You've been able to let that grieving energy move through you and not stay stuck. And I think that's been one of the challenges for people during the pandemic, is how can that grief, that wailing that needs to happen, and oftentimes happen in community at some point, that shared wailing and grief, when that's taken away, how do we let that move through us?
We don't stuff it and let it harm us physically and emotionally, and I don't want my pain to turn into anger or resentment. I want it to guide me with purpose and with a deeper love, and hopefully with more humanity. I I feel like being open about my feelings. I hope, and there is evidence to support this, that it makes other people feel safer sharing how they're feeling and walking through their grief, because I've heard from people from all over the world about their loss. And I'm just one of those people who has to sort of share with the world what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling, and hopefully experience love and strength in return. And also, I really believe that if I can make the world just a little more safe for someone else, that's going to help me heal. Because one of the phrases in recovery is, you can't keep it unless you give it away. And I want to give away. Isn't that wonderful?
I love that.
And I feel like I believe that about love and gratitude and strength and healing. I just think the more I can share my journey while keeping some for myself, um, the more fully I can heal, the more productive I can be as a human being and as a keeper of Terence's legacy and a citizen of the world. Um, and maybe I'll have more to offer. Um, it's a balm for the pain, though.
I think sometimes the best way through it, when you're ready, when you have the strength and when you've had your private mourning, is to go back into service to people. And that, because I think that is one of the most healing things you can do. And it's such a testament to, I know, the sort of the mantra and the theme song that you and Terence have shared is love wins. And that certainly came strong with the whole marriage equality. And of course, it felt so good, all the posters and all of that. But
Yeah.
it's extraordinary to see how it keeps winning.
Don't you feel that? I mean, it's
Yeah.
so simple, two simple words, and ultimately love wins the day. It
Yeah.
really does. Which you know, if you saw that, I don't know, on a greeting card, you might roll your eyes, but it can't be dismissed. The power of love cannot be dismissed. And when all is said and done, fear and pain and racism and xenophobia and all of the sort of horrible issues that have been coming to the surface or resurfacing over the last 14 months, love wins. Love wins the day.
Tom, I just love you to pieces, and I thank you. You're about to get Broadway back on its feet. Thank you. But and so I know you're super busy, and it's when I knew I wanted to speak about this. This is coming out for Memorial Day, so we can keep all these beautiful souls in our memory and in our hearts alive, full of love. But you're, as I said, you've handled this with such grace and bravery, and I wanted the world to hear a little bit about your journey with this. So thank you for being so open and you.
Thank you. I hope that people um, understand that tears are not weakness, and that allowing themselves the pain is really okay. It's really okay, because there's no doing an end run around grief, and grief is a direct response to having loved. And if I had a prayer for everyone who is living with loss, it is that they can remind themselves of the blessings of having loved, and recognizing that gratitude can be a course towards healing.
And on that note, I just love you to pieces.
I love you too.
Tom.
Thank you for asking me to be a part of this, and for blowing me away with Danny Boy. Oh my God, you
I
have
do believe you responded in about 5 seconds with yes.
yeah, you really have like my tear ducts are hardwired to your voice. It's like oh my God, it's just crawls inside my soul and moves me. So thank you. Thank you.
It's my honor. I love you to pieces. Thanks, Tom.